Hey guys, welcome back to Reckless. I'm Sandeep, and in today's video we'll be taking a look at the Redmi Note 8 Pro smartphone and comparing it with an unusual competitor, which is the iPhone 11 Pro Max. So it's not exactly a competitor in terms of the pricing nor the target audience that it has, but it's kind of a competitor in the sense that both these smartphones are set out to give you the ultimate camera possible in their respective price segments. However, we saw that the Note 8 Pro was the best camera under Rs 20,000 and even compared it to a Realme XT, and the Note 8 Pro came on top. And also, considering how good camera phones have become in the mid-range segment, it remains to be seen just how well it stacks up against a smartphone that is way into the premium segment. Of course, anyone considering the Note 8 Pro would not be looking forward to buying or would not be able to buy the 11 Pro Max, and anyone looking to buy the 11 Pro Max might not even be thinking about the Note 8 Pro for sure. But it just remains interesting to see just how the cameras stack up against these devices, considering that this has a 64 megapixel camera, and even if you combine all four cameras on the iPhone 11 Pro Max, there's three 12 megapixel cameras at the back, one at the front. Altogether is just 48 megapixels. So that's incredible amount of resolution on the Note 8 Pro. It should be interesting to see just how well or how badly it fares against the 11 Pro Max and whether megapixels are everything, which is not, by the way. So let's just see how close or how far the phone is. Now, before we get started, please do make sure at the end of the video, if you happen to enjoy it, give us a thumbs up and also subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Now let's get the camera comparison underway. At the back of the Redmi Note 8 Pro is a quad camera setup with a primary 64 megapixel Samsung GW1 sensor with 0.8 micron pixel size and 1 by 1.72 inch sensor size. The Note 8 Pro has an f1.89 aperture, which is practically an f1.9 aperture, and it has an 8 megapixel ultra wide f2.2 sensor as well as a 2 megapixel f2.4 depth sensor and dedicated macro camera with 2 megapixel resolution and f2.4 aperture as well as 2 cm minimum focusing distance. The iPhone 11 Pro Max has a primary 12 megapixel f1.8 camera with optical image stabilization, telephoto 12 megapixel camera with 2x focal length, f2 aperture and OIS, and finally an ultra wide angle 12 megapixel camera with f2.4 aperture and 120-degree field of view. The Redmi Note 8 Pro shots are warmer than the 11 Pro shots, and the 11 Pro Max has higher color accuracy and the focus as well as shutter speeds are faster, but the Note 8 Pro is a big improvement over the Note 7 Pro owing to the new UFS 2.1 storage, which allows almost instantaneous writing to a storage even with the heavier 64 megapixel photos. Color is handled well on both, with the iPhone boosting colors a tad bit more when there's a rich scene being shot, or else both are very natural looking and don't go the oversaturated route like Realme or Samsung. The iPhone 11 Pro Max has better dynamic range, but there's also a difference in terms of the way they handle it, where the Note 8 Pro chooses to boost the shadows more while the 11 Pro Max tries to keep the highlights in check better. The noise levels are also lower on the iPhone 11 Pro Max photos even in well-lit conditions, and this can be seen even in the shadows. In terms of absolute detail, the Note 8 Pro does have an upper hand as you can zoom in quite a bit and retain good sharpness. And the iPhone also does very well for a 12 megapixel phone, but the benefits of pixel binning and having a higher resolution sensor does clearly show on the Redmi Note 8 Pro photos. Even though the Note 8 Pro captures in 16 megapixel pixel bin photos by default, you can also shoot in 64 megapixel as well, but it gives you quite large file sizes with little to no real benefit but extra noise as well, so we suggest sticking to 16 megapixel mode. In terms of low light, the iPhone 11 Pro is a huge step forward for Apple and right now is one of the best night modes on the market. Since it automatically toggles night mode, we shall compare the night mode on both, and this is where the flagship quotient comes in, as the iPhone clearly jumps ahead and shows the Note 8 Pro who's boss with excellent color accuracy, high level of detail and clean output with low noise. The Note 8 Pro performs well for a phone in a segment, but it can't keep up with the iPhone. The difference is more tangible when the light drops further, and while the iPhone also degrades a bit in terms of quality, the Note 8 Pro degrades further, and because of that the iPhone still comes on top. The Note 8 Pro also has the option to shoot in Pro mode with manual settings, which we definitely recommend since the output you get in such a mode is very clean and with very minimal noise, great color accuracy and high detail as well as sharpness. Considering that the Note 8 Pro just launched, the night mode should get even better with future updates. In terms of portrait mode, the iPhone can shoot portraits with both the primary and telephoto camera, while Note 8 Pro makes use of only its primary camera. Before we get started talking about the depth and the blur, the primary difference you'll see is that the iPhone shots have better dynamic range. The hardware is powerful enough to capture an image with HDR and blurring, while there's just blurring on the Note 8 Pro. Both the phones opt for a realistic blur by default, but you can play around with the blur levels and even lighting effect on both phones after capturing the photos as well. Both the ultra-wide angle cameras are able to capture very dramatic angles that definitely elevate certain scenes when it comes to the composition, and the iPhone 11 has a wider field of view, better dynamic range as well, and less distortion at the edges and better overall sharpness. When we compare the Note 8 Pro to XT, we saw how consistency and similarity between the regular and ultra-wide mode was better on the Note 8 Pro, but the iPhone's even better than the Note 8 Pro as well. iPhone 11 Pro outputs images that seem like they have literally been shot with the same sensor, but just a wider lens. And while the Note 8 Pro does great too, and exceptionally well for its price, it isn't as accurate as the iPhone. In low light conditions, the ultra wide angle camera on both aren't good, as neither of them support night mode either, and there's no extra benefit there. But hopefully a software update will help get night modes with the ultra wide angle camera on both the devices. Telephoto camera on the 11 Pro Max allows you to get closer to the action and also gives good quality output that's consistent with the primary camera in terms of color accuracy and processing. You can do a 2x zoom on the Note 8 Pro as well, with a quick toggle also being there to assist, but this is the digital zoom and we recommend shooting with the primary camera and cropping in later if required, as the quality will degrade using digital zoom. The front-facing camera on the iPhone 11 Pro Max is a 12MP sensor with f2.2 aperture, while the Redmi Note 8 Pro has a 20MP f2 unit. In terms of detail and sharpness, the Note 8 Pro does better, and this is evident when you pixel peep. But in terms of dynamic range, the iPhone is much better, and it also allows you to capture wide-angle selfies. In terms of portrait mode, both the phones have good blurring and subject separation, but there is an issue when it comes to edge detection on both, and this is an area where we saw the Realme XT doing much better. In terms of video, Note 8 Pro clearly does show what differentiates it from a flagship phone. iPhones have had the best video recording for a while now, and the 11 series is even better. The 11 Pro Max can do stabilized footage at 4K 60fps on all the cameras, while the Note 8 Pro can do 1080p 30fps with EIS or 1080p 60 and 4K 30 without EIS. Unless you're using a gimbal or some stabilizer, it's best to stick with the 1080p 30fps mode on the Note 8 Pro, or else you'll end up getting a lot of shakes and the videos that don't look as refined. If you're looking for better sharpness and detail, then go for the 4K 30fps mode on the Note 8 Pro, because there's no additional detail or better bitrate on the 60fps 1080p mode, unlike on some other phones. The Note 8 Pro can also capture 1080p 30fps with EIS on the ultra-wide angle camera, but whichever camera, mode and resolution you choose, the 11 Pro Max aces it with amazing stabilization, great dynamic range, good focus and overall a very refined look. The Note 8 Pro does well for its price, but slight issues such as exposure fluctuations deter the experience. The 11 Pro Max can do 4K 60fps video with the front camera as well with stabilization, while the Note 8 Pro video at the front maxes out at 1080p 30fps without stabilization. This is the front-facing camera on the Redmi Note 8 Pro capturing 1080p 30fps video. Let me know what you guys think about the overall sharpness, dynamic range, how well it's taking my voice in this scenario, and the stabilization as well. So this is the front-facing camera on the iPhone 11 Pro Max capturing 4K 60fps video. Let me know what you guys think about the overall sharpness, dynamic range, how well this became my voice in this scenario, and the stabilization as well. So that was the camera comparison between the Redmi Note 8 Pro and the iPhone 11 Pro Max. And of course, like most of you would have expected, the 11 Pro Max does come out on top. I mean, there has to be a reason why it costs so much more, and of course there is so much more apart from just the cameras. But then again, flagship cameras are flagship for a reason. But it was really interesting to see just how close the Note 8 Pro got in certain situations and even come out on top, especially in terms of the detailing and sharpness. So the 64 megapixels of resolution that you get is indeed giving you better sharpness, better details that you can crazily zoom into, while the 11 Pro Max on the other hand has extremely refined video, has better low light performance and these kind of things, which actually set it apart and is the reason why it costs more. So should you be spending a lakh extra to get a phone like that? Well, that depends on what your budget is, it depends on your requirements, depends on what you're looking for in a smartphone. If you're looking for a great camera experience and that's about it, then the Note 8 Pro should be good enough. I mean, it gives you a great camera experience at a really good price point. But then of course, if you're looking for a premium experience, a premium brand, better quality screen, performance, battery life, and all these things all bundled into one, and you want a no compromise smartphone, then that's maybe when you need to step up and buy the 11 Pro Max. However, then again, if you ask me the question, do you think that the iPhone 11 Pro Max is worth the 1 lakh rupees extra that you're paying for it just for the cameras? I think probably not. And that just goes to show just how good mid-range smartphones have become now, and just how good the Redmi Note 8 Pro is also. But I'll still be holding on to my iPhone 11 Pro Max for now as my main phone. But still, this was an interesting camera comparison. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you have any questions, do let me know as well. And see you again in the next one. Thanks for watching this one.